Hey Jim, this is Ryan, a resident from Columbus, Ohio. I've been following the blog and podcast since 2014, and I don't know much about the Roth 401k. From what I've read, the annual contribution is 19,500, and the Roth IRA limit is 6,000 for under age 50. Can I contribute to each in the same calendar year for a total of 25,500? I read the case against the Roth 401k by Harry Sitt, and it seems like the conclusion is that it's a good account for residents and it varies for others. When I leave the residency institution, should I roll the Roth 401k into the Roth IRA or leave them as two separate accounts? Thanks for all that you do.
All right, Ryan, that's a great question to start the podcast off with. In many 401ks, there is a Roth option for the employee contribution. Okay? If you are under 50 in 2021, the contribution limit for the employee contribution is $19,500. That can go either into a tax-deferred subaccount, a traditional 401k, if you will, or it can go into a tax-free subaccount, essentially a Roth 401k, or you can actually mix and match it. You can put 9,500 into the traditional and 10,000 into the Roth if you like. You only get one employee contribution, no matter how many 401ks you have. You got 6 employers and they all offer you a 401k, you only get one $19,500 contribution. There is another limit that has to do with 401ks that is $58,000 per year for those under 50 in 2021. That is the sum total of all employee and employer contributions. Employer contributions include things like a match or a profit-sharing contribution or various other types of actually penalty contributions for the employer if they're favoring their highly compensated employees and owners. But the total there is $58,000. And that total is actually per 401k, per unrelated employer. So it's entirely possible that you can put $58,000 as a combination of your contributions and the employer's contributions into one 401k. And if you have a totally separate job, you can put another $58,000 in there as employer contributions. Now you have to have enough income over there to do that because you only get to put in about 20% of your income as an employer contribution if that's an individual 401k or something like that. But the employer contributions are never Roth contributions. They're always tax deferred. To make things even more complicated, there is a way, at least under current law, although this is on the chopping block in Congress right now, but there's a way under current law to actually get $58,000 of Roth contributions into a 401k each year. And that consists of your $19,500 employee contribution, along with another, let's see, what's it work out to be? Another $30,000, $29,000, whatever it is, in after-tax employee contributions. Some plans allow that. And so you can put money in there after tax, and then if the plan allows it, you can immediately convert that money to Roth. If you just leave it as after tax, the earnings are fully taxable, but if you convert it to a Roth, then the earnings are not. So lots of cool tricks you can do with a Roth 401k if the plan allows it. Now, some plans suck. They don't even let you do Roth contributions, much less do a mega backdoor Roth process where you're putting in after-tax money and then doing an in-plan Roth conversion. But many plans now at least offer a Roth 401k option. You are correct that this is generally a better option in low-income years, whether that is residency or fellowship or the year you leave your training or the year you take a sabbatical or an extended maternity or paternity leave, or, years after you cut back as you head into early retirement, whatever. And then other years, as a general rule, you're better off getting the tax deferral, as discussed in Harry Sitt's famous post, as well as a number of times on the White Coat Investor blog and on this podcast. So I hope that's helpful to you. Now, there is also a completely separate account called a Roth IRA. And many high earners have to fund that through the back door, meaning indirectly. The money first goes into a traditional IRA. They don't get a deduction for it, but then they can convert it to a Roth IRA at no tax cost. Unfortunately, that process is also on the chopping block in Congress. We'll see what happens with that. But those contribution limits, the 401k contribution limit, $19,500, and the IRA contribution limit of $6,000 for those under 50, $70,000 or $7,000 for those who are 50 plus, are completely separate. So you can do both. You can put $19,500 in your Roth 401k. You can put another $6,000 into your Roth IRA. Hope I answered all your questions there, Ryan. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dahl, is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.